I love video games so much that I decided to actually get sober so I could play more video games, so that I could work harder to build a video game company, so that I could save more money to invest in video game stocks and startups. What's up guys, Zach Dixon from Players Launch here. Today is Thursday, November 8th, and I'm coming to you hot on LinkedIn. I'm making one post every week about the video game industry, the trends, and what I see right now. So it's no secret, I love games. I love games. Video games, board games, sports games, whatever. If it's competitive or cooperative and you get to play it socially with people, I love it, right? I love it so much that I'm trying to make a living out of it. I'm trying to build wealth out of just playing games all the time. Because for me, that's the most fun existence, the best and most ideal way I could live the rest of these days that I have, God willing, left on this earth. So, what I want to tell you guys and what I want to talk about is my hypothesis on video games and why I'm so long on video games. But before I do, I believe deeply in practicing open vulnerability. And so a lot of people, particularly on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, they flex hard and they never really talk about issues that they're struggling with or very real things. And so before each of these videos, I'm gonna be vulnerable for 30 to 60 seconds and tell you guys something that most people would be uncomfortable sharing. So I love video games so much that I decided to actually get sober so I could play more video games, so that I could work harder to build a video game company, so that I could save more money to invest in video game stocks and startups. That sounds kind of crazy, but the origin of Players Lounge is we started it in November 2014 as a video game pop-up company, a video game tournament pop-up company. We started it at a shitty little dive bar in Williamsburg, Brooklyn called the Alligator Lounge. Austin and I bought $1,000 worth of Xboxes and TVs. We started hosting FIFA tournaments at this bar, and we would get drunk and we would play video games and we would bet money on it. It was sick. And it started as just a thing that we were doing on Thursday nights because it would be fun, and we built a little community around it. But then after a few months, EA Sports got involved, and then AB InBev got involved, and then it seemed like, holy shit, there might actually be something here, right? So that was the end of 2014. Now from the end of 2014 to the beginning of 2017, Players Lounge grew. It grew from an events company to a website as it is now, playerslounge.co, where you can play video games online for money. We launched that at the beginning of 2016 with an investment from the CEO of Take-Two. Now, that was the greatest accomplishment in my entire life. Going to Andover, going to Wesleyan, you know, being like an okay soccer player, of everything I'd ever done in my life, starting Players Lounge and getting the CEO of a big publicly traded video game company to invest in me, in the team, in the concept. That was the best thing I'd ever done, right? But I was under a lot of pressure and anxiety. And from the time that we started Players Lounge until the beginning of 2017, my alcohol and marijuana consumption actually went like through the roof. Not as much alcohol because I get really bad hangovers, but I got so stressed that I was smoking weed not just every day, but all day. I was high for all of 2016. I think I smoked weed every day, multiple times a day for all of 2016. That's a year of my life that I can't get back, and that I was hiding in my anxieties and fears about the business and about how it was going, and I was self-medicating with that marijuana. So the reason that I got sober, that I started going to Alcoholics Anonymous at the beginning of 2017, is because I saw what other people had, what other sober people had. And they had the ability to take control of their life, of their feelings, of their shortcomings, and to get control of their professional, romantic, social, and financial lives. And so I got sober because I wanted to spend my whole fucking life playing video games, growing video game companies, and investing in video game businesses. So that is my hypothesis. That is my moment of vulnerability about video games. Now I'm gonna tell you why I'm super long on video games. I grew up playing video games, and every very deep, rich friendship I have is either comes from video games or from playing soccer. There are very few relationships that I have in my life that have gone the distance that are not with a former teammate or a former video game teammate. And so for me, as a 29-year-old man, those are some of the richest relationships I have in my life. And I was born in '89. There wasn't like online video games until like the early mid 2000s. So the generation that's growing up right now, my nephews, my 11 and 13-year-old nephews, they live an entirely digital experience. Discord, Twitch, YouTube gaming, they live for video games. The video game industry is massive. It's way, way, way bigger than people thought it would be. And esports is a subset of video games that's growing at an astronomical pace. If you are an investor or in marketing, the buzzwords that you're hearing are esports, and you're seeing $100 million investments in Cloud9 and, you know, Skills and all of these companies. And this started really blowing up 2 years ago. We started Players Lounge 4 years ago, right? We started doing this, hosting tournaments at bars in Brooklyn 4 years ago. Not because we saw, oh, it's a huge cash grab opportunity, but because we fucking love video games, right? We love video games, we love playing video games, we love having friendships and building professional relationships based on video games. And I want to make a lot of money playing video games. That's the goal here. That sounds fun, right? So for me, in sobriety, I have been able to save more money than I ever was able to when I was not sober. And it was all because of the money that I made from a video game business, right? And I'm gonna let you in a little secret. When we were bootstrapping Players Lounge, we paid ourselves $20,000 a year in Williamsburg, Brooklyn for 2 years. I ran a deficit living in Williamsburg, smoking weed, drinking, going on dates, socializing. I was going deeper into debt for 2 years. And so for me, getting sober was like, wow, I spend $100, $200 a week on drugs and alcohol. I could spend that money on myself. I could spend that money on more video games. Or what if I just started saving it, right? And so from the beginning of 2016 to until now, I've just been really squirreling away as much money as possible. And I invest all of that money, almost all of that money, in video game companies, specifically the big publicly traded ones. EA, Take-Two, Activision Blizzard, some smaller ones like Glu Mobile. So I'm investing in this stuff because I want to build an independent lifestyle for myself where video games provide myself and my family all the financial freedom to do whatever the fuck we want for the rest of our lives, right? And so I am super long on video games, both in my career, both in my investments, and in my personal life. And all of this is why I am as excited about Players Lounge as I am. It's why I'm willing to wake up at the crack of dawn to go try and meet an investor, to just hopefully get into the room with him or her and pitch him on it, right? It's why we've been able to do some really crazy stuff. We got into Y Combinator. We've raised money for people that I've been dreaming about meeting for decades, right? Childhood Zach would look at current Zach right now and be like, yo, you are crazy and you're a sweaty hustler. I can't believe you're sober. That doesn't sound like that much fun, but you get to play a lot of video games, so that's sick. So that's it for today, guys. I'm gonna make one of these videos every week, and I'm gonna focus it specifically around the video game industry. Next week, I'm gonna talk to you about how much money I saved through getting sober, and how I've been investing in video game companies, and what our work on a day-to-day basis is like at Players Lounge. So that's it, guys. I hope you have a great day. Be well. Bye-bye.